I would like to call to the podium Mr. Lamnidis. And Mr. Lamnidis is a lawyer, and he's going to talk about the structures of and the connection of Greece and nuclear energy, or if there's no connection. Thank you, Mr. Lamnidis.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to express my thanks to the organizer for inviting me here to talk about nuclear energy. It's a topic that everybody could wonder is a wish or a curse. I really don't know. Or better saying, I have been touched. I will explain you later what I mean by that, by the nuclear energy. Negatively, although personally I'm in favor of. First question that was raised in my mind is what I'm going to do. I'm going to discuss for guys with buildings concerning nuclear. What is that? And yes, it is. Lately, Google and Amazon signed huge PPA agreements for their data center. With whom? With SMR companies, with companies that are going to generate electricity from small modular reactors. So directly I realized that the big technology giants, they are interested in supplying their huge data center with base load from nuclear energy plants. Not only that, Microsoft also invested in the renovation of a nuclear plant as well. Why? To have reliable, permanent base load from nuclear. That was my first shock to understand that technology goes with nuclear. And not only up to that, AI is further developing, consuming huge quantities, plus cryptos. The mining of cryptos necessitates huge quantities of electricity. Just put it in the back of your mind, and we will continue further on where we stand in the environment, the international environment. In COP28 in Dubai, we have had a significant step towards the revitalization of nuclear energy. What I mean by that? After Fukushima, nuclear went slowly, and people were negatively reacted. Germany shut down nuclear reactors. What happened in Dubai, COP28? 25 countries made a declaration that by 2050, they like to see triple the production from nuclear. That was a shock. It was the first big shock. Further on, another shock. 14 huge banks in the Energy Week of New York confirmed their willingness to support the triple energy production by nuclear. That was a very big shock. Why? Because bankers, they are very reserved when financing nuclear and dangerous environmentally units. Why? Because it reflects to them an accident could create huge claim against the financiers as well. So the fact that 14 huge banks expressed their willingness to finance this type of project was another shock. We came now in Baku a few days before. What we have seen COP29, where another 6 countries adhered, or better say, signed. It was not an agreement in order to adhere. They signed also the declaration for tripling the nuclear energy production. Inter alia, two of our neighboring countries, Turkey and even Kosovo. What do we have in the EU? Further developments, extremely important developments. EU created a tool that differentiates the production units of electricity in sustainable and non-sustainable. In the next discussion that we had in the European Union, there were countries in favor and countries against. But the taxonomy, the green taxonomy, is not an issue of political discussion. It's an issue of sustainability. So although at the beginning it was not considered that nuclear energy could be a sustainable mode of energy, after the creation of some expert groups, the expert groups decided that yes, it is sustainable. Yes, nuclear must be included in the green taxonomy, even if it will be as the intermediate step up to 2050. So as a result, the Commission has now taken steps to include nuclear as a transitional activity in the taxonomy by adopting the complementary delegated act. This goes for generation 3 plus and generation 4 reactors. The countries, what they can do, the countries, towards this decision of the Commission, they can go to the European Parliament, they can object, they can deny. But the majority that is requested from the European Parliament in order to block this decision of the Commission, mathematically, has no result, because it is needed 65% of the countries. So 12 countries, they are in favor. Blocked. By definition, green taxonomy includes now nuclear energy production. This is the European Union level. What we have now lately in the technology of nuclear production, we have the famous SMRs. Maybe you heard already about. Small modular reactors. What are they? They are small, up to 300 megawatts. 1/3 less than the normal nuclear power units with 1,000, 1,200 megawatts, etc., etc. That makes them to have a considerable advantage. What? Although it is same in reality technology with the classic big nuclear units, as they have a smaller size, much smaller size, up to 300 megawatts, they are in the position to be constructed and assembled in the factory, which means you can decrease enormously the construction time. You know very well, much better than anybody else, what means the climate conditions for every construction. You are in Saudi Arabia or in hot areas, you cannot work for some months. You are in very cold areas, you cannot work for some months. But like this, you can assemble everything, and you just go there to put it the right time, the right period, so you have no over budgeted issues because of climate conditions in the installation area. Modular is not only that, it's further on something else which is very important. You can put in serial or in parallel way 2, 3, 4, 5 small modular reactors, having the same result with a big unit, but with all the advantages I already described to you. Because one of the biggest part of criticism for nuclear is the big problem with budget. You start with a budget of 10 billion and you arrive in a budget of 15, 20 billion because of huge delays in the construction phase. Part of the SMRs, we have also, I didn't say to you something very important. The new generation of SMRs is not going to use only water for cooling. They can use also molten salt and other technologies that further enhance safety and security. The big problem is that although it is a downsize of the big reactors, this is not necessarily unescapably a decrease analogous of the price. Why? Because the fact that you do something smaller doesn't mean by definition that you have only 30% of the value of 1,000 megawatt reactor. You may have much bigger. How you could decrease? Only by bigger production of similar SMRs, and we will go later to that. Micro-modular reactors, much smaller, very interesting. The micro-modular reactors are up to 10, 15, they may be even 20 megawatts. In reality, we say up to 10. What are they doing? They are acting in several cases. A, they are acting as nuclear batteries in order to facilitate balancing of the system. B, they can be used for isolated areas, rural areas, in order to offer sustainable electricity. For us in Greece, would be a very important solution for small islands which are not interconnected. But this is the time to tell us what. We had a very important case lately, the last years, better say, in Canada, when Justin Trudeau came in the power, 2015, 2016, he was totally negative against nuclear. He wanted to shut down everything. But it was an obligation for a refurbishment of existing new nuclear units, and the budget was 26 billion. And it was a miracle, but the refurbishment were on budget and on time. Thus changing even the opinion of Trudeau for nuclear. So after that, Canada ordered 4 small nuclear reactors, 300 megawatt each, for Ontario area, and another 4 for other areas. Plus, Poland came and ordered another 8 small modular reactors of this size, 300 megawatts each. Thus creating the initial demand for constructing these SMRs and decreasing consequently also the prices I said to you before. EIB, European Investment Bank, big player in our area. European Investment Bank is expressing financially the policy of the European Union with its own, of course, interpretation every time. So what has done 21st of June this year, EIB? EIB adopted a roadmap in order to finance research and development for SMRs. That was a shock as well. Why was a shock? Because only once in Italy, 30 years before, European Investment Bank financed a nuclear power plant. That was the only one. Never again. But now they are coming to finance what? Research and development for SMRs. SMRs related with the classic way, with water cooling or molten salt or other techniques that will appear soon. It was, of course, very big criticism, and the criticism was related not only to the waste management, radio waste management. It was not only in the risks of safety, it was also at the European taxpayer level. What is going to pay the European taxpayer when it is totally impossible to make a business plan over 10 or 15 years? Why? Because when we are talking about nuclear, the business plan that we're supposed to prepare is for 50, 60, 70 years to see the economic results, the viability, and what finally the European taxpayer is going to get. So, big question, the feasibility of all these projects, big part of criticism. Second part, as I said to you before, the overrun of budget and delays in the construction. But the second two, the last two I said to you, overrun of budget and also the delays in construction, are more or less mitigated from the SMRs, which could be the right solution in order not to have increase of budget and increase of construction period. Nuclear energy, and I didn't know myself unless I was involved into that very much. Greece was one of the first countries in Europe to be involved in nuclear technology. Already 31st of July 61, we inaugurated in Greece the scientific nuclear reactor of Democritus, 5 megawatt. And that was operating for years and years. And finally, a year before, 21st September 23, we had the report of the International Atomic Energy Agency that said the shutdown was perfectly well done, the decommissioning was right, the management of waste, radio waste, was also well done. There were some notes, small letters, but in general the result was very positive, the way our nuclear scientists reacted and worked with the Democritus scientific power plant. And then, 3rd July 2024, in the Conference of Economists, our Prime Minister said, I will read you mot à mot what he said, there is no way that we will reach carbon neutrality without nuclear. I don't want to isolate the phrase in order to give different impressions. This was the impression. This was the right impression. Everybody understands now that we will not be at the position to reach the 2050 targets without the use of nuclear. Critical, very critical. Very important also for us. Like this started the discussion in Greece. That was the sign we have to start discussing also about nuclear. And what happened next? A few days later, September 24, it was organized the first conference in Greece for nuclear. It was organized in Democritus. It was organized from the Institute of Foreign Affairs in cooperation with the Polish Journal, whose editor is a very important guy, I believe, Mr. Lukas Katsonis. And then we had another, October 24. We had the first workshop, 3 minutes or 3 hours? 3 minutes, not hours. I'm running extremely fast. I will gather now. So, during this conference that was created from two scientists, Greek scientists, PhD both, working in the nuclear industry in Switzerland, the guys tried to communicate to the public opinion of Greece the importance of doing nuclear, and same time they are willing to be in the first project of nuclear in Greece. At that workshop, Mr. Tsafos, the advisor of the Prime Minister, said some things that shocked me personally. He said, well, we are ready to negotiate PPPs with neighboring countries or even to invest in the nuclear power plants of neighboring countries. What is that? Not security for energy supply, neighboring countries. We know everybody our relation with neighboring countries the last 50, 100, 200, 500 years. And if we have all the risk for a nuclear accident next to them, you know, with each and every neighboring country, we have signed bilateral agreements to communicate to us in case of an accident. So instead of taking care ourselves for our energy production, we will leave Bulgarians or Serbs or Romanians or Turks to produce nuclear, and after we will buy. Clever. I was shocked. So I hope not to do that. I'm going directly to the most important things. I'm not going to analyze what International Atomic Energy Agency says the time to organize all the nuclear program takes minimum 10 to 15 years, in good cases. In bad cases, much longer. What do you have to do there? You have to organize all the regulatory environment. You have to organize the NEPIO, the Nuclear Energy Project Implementation Organization. You have to organize your regulatory authority, which is related to the safety, to the management of waste, the commissioning, to all this. And also you have to identify the investor, the operator, the one who pays, who undertakes the risk along with the banks. This takes 15 to 20 years in reality. Even more if you take into consideration that the financial structure is not going to the energy exchange. You must have other tools, contract of difference or other type of agreements in order to absorb the produced electricity from the nuclear power unit, thus creating a long-lasting procedure. What do we have to do? It's too early maybe for the Greek public opinion to decide we want to go for nuclear. Is it the right time to start our nuclear program, bearing in mind that we will see the results for SMRs from the international community, what's going on around, but we are not going to delay another 10 years before starting. It takes time to finalize all this process, a lot of time. So the best way is to start from now on, focusing on what we want. What we want? We want to attract big databases centers. We want maybe crypto, maybe, I don't know. But we need for water desalination in the islands. We need in order to produce hydrogen for the big export pipelines. We need. And further on, what we have? We have a huge maritime fleet. Could we create maybe an initiative, the Hellenic initiative for green seas, along with the industry and along with the European Union, to start seeing how these vessels will not have huge emissions as they have, but being changed with micro-modular reactors? I do consider that this could be a huge advantage for the Hellenic government to proceed with nuclear power program from now on, making focus very much in this Hellenic initiative for green seas related with micro-modular reactors. Sorry for delaying so much. I tried to say a lot of things in a very short period of time. Thank you for your attention. I'm
Thank you, Mr. Lamnidis. If we do have a little time for 2 or 3 questions. Anyone? Should I start? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for this very interesting topic that you presented to us. I have a question. We all know that a nuclear reactor is producing energy from nuclear fusion.
Yes.
So the nuclear fusion is not a procedure like turning on a lamp or turning off the lamp. It needs time in order to be ready, the nuclear reactor to produce the energy. And of course, we cannot turn off the nuclear reactor in a minute. Maybe need hours in order to switch the reactor off. So about the micro-reactors, that you said that it is a suggestion for a backup system. We know that a backup system needs to be on time, on spot. When we are losing the energy, we need exactly the same time to have the production of energy. How this is going to work?
It's because of the size, totally different reaction. Although I'm not a technician, it was one of the first questions I raised to my friends from the scientific nuclear guys. They said the reaction of the smaller modular reactor and the micro are much faster than the huge nuclear power plants. So there is a possibility to do it extremely fast, especially the micro. Extremely fast.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Mr. Zoukos, maybe?
Thank you for your special speech. I would like to ask you about, as we know in European Union countries, there is a limited number of nuclear plants for electricity production. This number is, what is your opinion, progressively, this number of countries which we have, they have nuclear plants, will be increased progressively or will be decreased according to European norms and legal facts?
As I explained before, with the green taxonomy, that includes nuclear power plants as sustainable mode of electricity, we will have an increase, A. B. There is also, in Germany at this moment, a very big discussion to reopen the nuclear power plants, and they consider a big part of the population that the fact that the economy was shut down in reality in Germany, one of the reasons was the shutdown of the nuclear power plants. The discussion reopened lately, and we will see, I consider, a lot of other countries. Already Romania is working in order to further develop. Poland, as I said, ordered 8 SMRs. Even neighboring countries, they are working very hard in this respect. Even Serbia, although it has not signed the triple production of nuclear plants declaration, they are working for nuclear. So we see a lot of developments. Even Bulgaria is further working to add another nuclear power plant unit. Yes, please.
Hello. As far as we know, the nuclear plants are very straight connected to issues of permitting procedures. There is also the risk and insurance of their operation. There is also the issue of the weapon production from the waste that comes out. There is also the issue of the waste disposal, of the nuclear waste disposal. And there is also, as always, the issue of development of local added value. I understand you're talking about the 3-hour lecture here. Anyhow, these are very important issues that, as far as I know, are not even openly discussed.
They are discussed. Exactly. Lately they are discussed, and how they are discussed. You are absolutely right on the licensing process. I explained exactly that in order to create a nuclear program, what we need is 15 to 20 years. Why? Because you have to take all the best techniques, scientific techniques and the results from all over the globe and the nuclear community and create the similar in your own country. Parallel to that, you have to make a huge capacity building. Why? Because we have not a lot of nuclear scientists. It's not enough gain brains that will be a result. A lot of nuclear scientists, Greeks, will come back. But it's not that. It's not enough. We must have cooperation between universities. The part of nuclear, of national technology, of NTU. The part of NTU for nuclear is a small department. So we need much bigger. It's not only engineers. We need each and every technician that will be involved in the construction to be educated for nuclear. Waste of management, radio waste management. This is something that it is extremely easy. Nobody sees. In Bulgaria, they have never seen the waste, radio waste. The companies that are working with American, they do. So, in order to use the waste to create weapons, it's not an easy task. We are not Iran, by definition. This could be maybe, I'm not sure that even that could be, maybe in Iran, but for sure not in European countries. It's not such a chance.
I disagree with that, and we know from the history of the reactors in the European countries.
Once upon a time.
Since the beginning, yeah.
Once upon a time, things changed.
The weapons development was a big issue about the choice of the reactor type. One thing I would like to ask though, who will take the risks and the insurance of a possible nuclear accident? This is the only question that I would like to ask now. Are private organizations having insurance contracts?
I will explain you. As of today, we have already very, very big insurance agreements from big consortia of insurance companies. And it is as simple as that. All neighboring countries will be full of nuclear, and we will be out. In case of an accident, this is not going to touch us. It is better that we'll be managed from Bulgarians. We have better trust Bulgarians to run a nuclear power plant rather to our own scientists. Or we are expecting that Turks, they are much better than we are. So, this is not a question of an isolated island in the middle of Atlantic. We are between other countries that are operating nuclears. We want to have dependence from them. We want to reach the targets of 2050 with the right way. And also, yes, the accident, it could be. I could never say no. Never, never. Trust me. But what are the accidents from climate change? How many deaths we have from fires, from water problems, from up to now? It is compared. Can we compare it? The results of the climate change. It is something that we have also in mind. It is not to compare renewable, which are safe, or even better, energy efficiency, the no risk, no harm, no problem solution. We are talking about huge quantities of energy. We have a huge increase of energy consumption. Those being further increased due to the data centers and artificial intelligence. It will be more than twice the today consumption. What we will do? How we will balance our systems? We will make all the agricultural production covered from solar. What we will do? Or hydrogen that needs another 50 years in order to be at the position to substitute fossil fuels? Or we will stay with fossil fuels?
Indeed, it's a very big topic.
It's a huge topic.
It's a huge topic. Maybe you can talk it later during the break.
If you permit me, I will tell you only one story which I was shocked with, and it was very important. The United Arab Emirates example that took only 8 years to finalize their nuclear program and to have operational nuclear power plant. And it was a Greek that was running as advisor everything, Mr. George Borovas. This guy succeeded in 8 years to do what International Atomic Energy Agency requests 15 to 20 in 8 years, and he's a Greek. So we have good brains that we must bring them back and do ourselves our best for the future of our kids.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
I thank you.